Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Sunday football. Tim Carlton up against the Western Bulldogs. Doggy start favourites, trying to get back into the 8, but we already know the Blues' game plan. They've flagged it early.
Well, they didn't. It came from an unlikely source. A former Bulldog champion in Tony Liberatore is an assistant coach there at the Blues now. He said they have to keep them to under 300 possessions. That's exactly what the Swans did last week, and that set up the victory for them.
Let's go to Dennis Committee. Dennis, sometimes you've got to go back to go forward.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Well, you might remember during the telecast on Friday night, we mentioned that Collingwood, we thought, could play at a particular tempo. We wondered if Fremantle could. The same holds true. That question can be applied for the Western Bulldogs. They succumbed to the pressure of Sydney last week. A couple of players in particular, Adam Cooney, 13 possessions. Daniel Siracusa, terrific player, but just 11 possessions. Now, that question won't be answered this afternoon, but they need some confidence. Those two players in particular need to perform against the contenders. We'll find out something today.
So some key doggies in the spotlight today. Tim Carlton's 6 consecutive losses. They've been in front at half-time in their last 3 matches. 2 changes today. Bannister in for his first game of the season and Wiggins. Where are the keys? Well,
they're an up-tempo side, Carlton. There's no question about that. That's the way Dennis loves his side to play. Waite was the X-factor last week. Went forward, kicked 4 goals. He complimented Favola and also Whitnell. No Eddie Betts. They need someone to bob up and kick 4 goals. This kid's been protected. I really like the way they're bringing him along, though. Bruce, have been playing him across half-back. He's a really good thinker of the game. He's good with his disposals. Yet to receive a NAB rookie nomination, but I would think by the end of the year he'll give one. And Walker, I put him at full back because I think that he'll start on Brad Johnson. Wherever Johnson goes, that will be a hard tag all over the ground.
Well, Tim, we've got a great view from here, but for many, the best seat in the house belongs to David Swartz today. Ox.
Thanks, Bruce. It's the MCG, the members' wing, 89 steps from ground level, and we're in the Western Bulldogs coach's box. I'll be sitting here with Rocket E this afternoon. I've got the privilege of being able to watch how he goes about his business, coming up against the Carlton Football Club, what coaches have an input, how the mood is within the box, who they target from the opposition. We'll bring you stuff that really we very hardly get to see. Can't wait for this one to get going.
Looking forward to talking to the Ox. We'll be chatting to him throughout the day. Griffin and McMahon back into the team.
Yeah, they're a good side, the Bulldogs, when they're up and running. And if they are to keep them to, or the Blues are to keep them below 300 possessions, they're going to have to target West and Cross. They average between them about 15 disposals a quarter. They're going to talk about 75 a quarter, so they're going to have to shut Cross down. He's a prolific ball winner, a very good handballer, and so too is Scotty West. In fact, I think Cross has just about got him nailed at the moment. He's averaging 29 to West's 28 possessions. And, of course, the other player that they need to keep their eye on today, the Blues, and that's Gilby. Most signs are tagging him now, Bruce. They will take him right back to the full-back line just to keep him out of the play.
If the Dogs win, they get themselves back in the 8 tonight.
Can they do that? Out they come, the Western Bulldogs, a record of 5-4, but a very poor percentage. Last week, it's fair to say, overpowered by the Swans in Canberra. McMahon and Griffin, both runners, are back today. They need some spring in their step, the Western Bulldogs. They're on the ground at the MCG for Sunday football, looking for something better. And, of course, they've got those new uniforms, the away strip this year, Carlton, familiar strip. In front, Brett Thornton playing his 100th game. Made his debut back in 2002. Now, the Blues have lost their last 6, but 3 of those have been under 20 points. They've been around the mark. They've squandered a few opportunities this year. The Blues looking for a break in that sequence. Sunday football, the Western Bulldogs and Carlton.
Dogs hot favourites, 5-4. The Blues, their last win was the thriller here against Essendon in round 3. And doesn't that form look a little better after last night? Let's go down to Ricky Olorenshaw. Just saw the doggies bonding there, Ricky. Couple of surprises on the interchange to start with.
Yeah, they have started with a couple of their stars on the interchange bench. We've been a couple of their leading goal kickers in Darcy and Cooney. They've both kicked 20 for goals between them this year, so they've started on the bench. Cooney's already on the phone to Rodney Eade, so he's getting a very early message. A couple of big inclusions too with Griffin and McMahon. Griffin missed last week with hamstring tightness, and Jordan McMahon had a cork thigh, been carrying it for several weeks, and they had a fear that may calcify, which means the muscle hardens. They gave him last week off to recover, and he's come up okay today, so look out for those coming out of defence.
Thanks, Rick. Winning the toss, the Bulldogs, and they go to the left of screen here, the punt road end. Favola, Suchaki has a terrific record at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Great record, really, full stop. But A great record here in recent times, and a big day, Dennis, for Acker. He's still to prove that he's been a great pickup. He's had some moments.
Yeah, the signs weren't bad last week, Bruce. I thought he battled hard in a losing cause, but yes, not the player perhaps at this stage they thought they were getting. May have got Jason Ackermanis after he was Jason Ackermanis.
Dale Morris has gone to Favola in the goal square. Murphy's gone forward for the Blues alongside Whitnell, Lappin, Fisher, and also Jared Wade, who 4 goals last week, was a very handy player. At the other end of the ground, Griffin's gone forward for the Bulldogs, which is a bit of a surprise at full forward.
Umpires this afternoon: Kennedy, that's Hayden Kennedy, Matt Stevick, and Derek Woodcock. Umpire Woodcock's got the football. Griffin back in the team. And away we go, and a good bounce to start proceedings Sunday football. Ackland fell hard. Simpson, the hurried kick down towards half forward. Knocked away from Fisher. Whitnell controlled it well. Outnumbered. White is tackled. Was he taken high? Not according to the umpire.
Watch the elbows. Watch the elbows.
Umpire Woodcock will do it again after this. His initial bounce saw Ackland take a hard tumble, and a shin to the head as well from a friend, supposedly. Fisher going nowhere, and the umpire will call for it again about 55 metres out from Carlton's attacking goal.
Gilby's picked up Murphy inside the 50 for the Blues. He'll have his hands full this afternoon keeping up with that kid.
Big game for the Dogs this afternoon. Street knocks it down. Well done by Bentic. Got a hand pass away. Gibbs, spring heel jack to Scotland. Scotland inside the 50, pulls it back, almost the mark. Spilt, free kick, and it's going to Murphy.
There it is.
Generally draws a tag, does Murphy. Just good awareness in, just playing in front. Gilby just drifting off the back and then just putting the hand over the shoulder. Definitely a free kick.
Umpire Kennedy awarding the free. Mark Murphy's favourite umpire. Taught him at school. Comes in, kicks the goal.
9 prior to that kick, and 0-4 from set shots for Murphy going in, but that was close to a gimme. So the Blues off to a fast start. They've been doing that a lot, haven't they? Bulldogs have only led a quarter time twice in their 9 matches. Harris just couldn't find the footy at all. Waite did very well. Murphy again to fall forward, and Whitnell in the box seat.
I really think that's a matchup that Rodney Eade's going to look long and hard at Gilby on Murphy, because Murphy does draw the ball. He's a really intelligent player. He likes to hunt the footy. Gilby likes to drift off his direct opponent. Not a noted, hard, run-with type player. Likes to find the ball himself and set up play in the back 6.
Well, he's a goal kicker, Whitnell. 3 times the leading goal kicker at the club. He's been accurate so far this year, and 2 early goals to the Blues. Well, I reckon, Tim, the bookmakers will be saying right now, well, we're back to almost an even money game. It's about where the game needed to be. Carlton with an early lead.
They start fast, though, Bruce. I watched them again last week against Adelaide Crows. They got off to a great start. It's just a matter of them being able to put 4 consistent quarters of football together. Their guns firing at the moment. Waite pushed into the centre there. He's been picked up by Harris. That's a little bit of a surprise, leaving Favola in the goal square, directly opposed by Morris.
Lance Whitnell. And there's the Ox in the box. Well, partly obscured there, but no, he's not. He's sort of withdrawn, got the glasses out now. We can see him beautifully. Hasn't been evicted, so obviously they don't hold him responsible for this start. Not yet, anyway. Carrazzo tries to feed it back. Griffin gave it to West, dragged off the kick. Punched towards the boundary by Favola. A long way up the ground. Power. Comes back across half-back. This is Morris. Kicks towards half-forward. Look out. Courage shown by Thornton. Game 100. Never lacked courage. Fed it back to Walker. Carrazzo on the wing. Whitnell again. Blues looking terrific. Carrazzo is a ball magnet. Goes down towards the pocket. Well played, Gilby. Ghosting across in front of Waite. Knocked it out of bounds.
2 good things there. Just the player going forward. Carrazzo lowered his eyes, honoured Whitnell. We should see that courageous effort there by Thornton to go back with the fly of the ball. But we just saw a moment ago too what Gilby does best, and that's come off his man and try and intercept ball.
Umpires there. Hayden Kennedy close to that milestone next week of 400. Lappin's quick kick. Harris.
5 metres, Jared! 5 metres, come back to my voice!
knows how to take a mark, Harris. Has been one of the features of his game again this year. White down the line. Griffin, terrific to have him back. Kicked by Gilby, Eagleton. And he runs it over the line. So slow start for the Dogs. Carlton off to a fly. Darcy in the centre there. Cooney sits it out along with Addison and Robbins.
Houlihan's picked up Ackermanis too. Ackermanis playing across half forward again.
Street. Well, it didn't seem to be a whole lot. Street's free kick. He's got Gilby wide. Now Gilby to run on.
75 metres out from goal, no. Straight to Thornton.
Message will be straight out there to Murphy too, to make sure that he mans up Gilby as soon as the ball turns over.
Houlihan towards the wing. Eagleton, almost a clever mark. Anderson needs to tie it up here. That's a good result for the Blues initially. He was outnumbered 3-1.
Easy, good tackle, easy. Fair, easy. Don't give it one.
Anthony Koutafidis starting on the bench.
I would expect Al Halpin to come on and be the relief ruckman for Ackland.
Street reaches over the top. Got it again. Beautiful half volley. West back to Street. Nimble, if you don't mind. Away to White. White running down towards half forward. Loops it to Boyd. Boyd intent on drawing a man. Sold himself initially into trouble. Gets free, but the kick was affected by all of that. Down towards the pocket. Bannister gets back. Breaking is Houlihan. This will be interesting. It pitches about 30 metres in from the boundary. Houlihan keeps running. Cross has got him, but not before he got the hand pass away. A battle of the hairdos out there. Scotland taken down by Ackermanis. In there too, Hargrave. It spills out to Gibbs. Brilliantly done, Carazzo. Gibbs goes down towards half forward. Missed by Harris. Taken by White. Runs inside the 50, lines up and misses everything. Out of bounds on the full.
If there's a weakness still in his game, Jared White, it is his consistency of performance. He did a great job here. Just ran, bounced the ball, steadied himself, but he had to hit the goal there.
Gilby wide, so the Doggies with a lid off. Back to Gibbs. Carazzo inside 50, deep inside Lappin. I think it's a free kick against Whitnall. So John Siracusa short to Power, quick give to West. West wide to Acker. He's played a game or two that linger in the memory of this ground, and what a magnificent kick it was to Johnson.
He made that. He made that. He made Johnson work to get into the right position. Here's the free kick against Lance Whitnall. You can't manhandle a player like that. That's Gilby. He just threw out of the way here to allow Lapper to take the mark. But that was a wonderful bit of play here by Ackermanis. Just kicked it to the space, to the favoured side. It was always going to be to the advantage of Johnson.
Scores over 60% from set shots this year, Johnson. And that's a good kick. Two good kicks for a goal.
The day he'd kicked only 23 goals in 18 games against the Blues. By his standards, down a bit. Street doing very well in here, and now Darcy takes a turn. Cross, couldn't control it. Well done, John Siracusa. Found a way through. Goes down towards half forward. Johnson once more. Ackermanis not beyond him this. Lights it, pulls it back, misses.
Started well, Acker. He probably had a bit more time than he realised, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He had plenty more time then, but we've seen him kick those so many times over the years. A move at the other end of the ground. Bannister's now gone into the attack for Carlton. He's picking up Gilby, so he'll be actually tagging Gilby as a forward.
Gee, dangerous kick, and Eagleton with a real chance here, and he makes them pay by kicking the goal. They're in front.
Are going with a very fast forward line, and they've only had a five-man forward line as well. They've got Acker, Higgins, Hahn, Johnson, Eagleton all up forward, trying to just exploit Carlton's lack of pace in defence.
Darcy was up there. This will be an interesting call.
They've got a five-man forward line at the moment, Dennis, which means that at the moment Carlton have got a seven-man forward line.
Luke Darcy pleading his case.
On the line. Keep it clean.
Well, the bounce didn't help him.
It's the eyes, isn't it?
Ackland inside the forward 50. Big pack. Off hands. Now that was in the back. It's going to be a free kick to Carlton.
In the back.
It's Lappin who picks himself up rather rudely.
Yeah.
So about 25 metres out directly in front. You'd like him from here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players flew for that ball then. Carlton, one of the rare teams in the competition, still prepared to kick to a contest.
235 career goals, 10 this season.
Great start, former All-Australian Lappin and a leading goal kicker at the club back in 2001. Centre clearances just in Carlton's favour. We saw the Dogs had more of the hit-outs early. Darcy in the ruck, replacing Street, gave away the free kick a moment ago. And this time, it's the Dogs' turn. It was Cross originally, and then Harris wide to Cooney, who started interchange with Darcy. And then Cooney goes long to the hot spot at centre-half forward. Saddington getting back. Scotland with him. He's got a bit of time now, Scotland. Good-looking kick to Ackland. He's an athletic ruckman. Wait. Oh, he's a good mover, isn't he? Sets it up. Carrazzo with some time. Not a bad-looking kick. Whitner was outnumbered, but he made the contest. White under the pump in the back against Fisher. And play on call. So the Dogs to get out of trouble.
White. Pretty leggy customer. Untidy hand pass though. Bounces obligingly for Murphy. Murphy's still going. Slips it across to Whitnell. Has to go back and find it. Turns around and misses. Surprised initially by his good fortune. Carrazzo is hot at the moment. 6 possessions. Good kick coming in. Cross. Across half back. Johnson is breaking. Not the best kick in the world. Held him up. Hands to it. Goes back. Slaps it. Intended for Griffin. Coming across his bow there was Waite. Griffin does well. Takes Walker down. Deserves a free kick. For effort if nothing else. And the umpire, not having any of that suggestion, decides to ball up.
Here's a tackle by Griffin. That is a terrific tackle. Just locks him up, spins him in the tackle, drops him. No prior opportunity.
Showed wonderful patience, Griffin, too. Just held off there, didn't rush, and tried to think his way through when he found himself between 2 Blues.
So the Blues, both their wins here at the MCG. In the first round against Richmond and the third against the Bombers.
That's the second free kick he's given away in a rucking contest to Luke Darcy.
So that's a good record for Carlton here this season. Dogs have got the same record. They started at the MCG with a loss to the Crows early on. West, Ackermanis, cleverly done. Handball from Gian Siracusa put Acker under the pump. Still got the numbers, and Higgins' first real touch in board to McMahon. McMahon creative to West, to Higgins, who arched his back, loves a goal, unloads and goes and drills it home.
On Higgins is interchanged. Now I've got a question for you there, Tim. I mean, why do we see this so often? Obviously it's an instruction to the players that when they kick a goal, they're to come off, at least at some clubs. Out of the middle, Boyd goes down towards the attacking 50. Coming up is Johnson, 55 metres out. That's a beautiful kick. No, fell short of the target. West, power taken down. Scotland did very well. Back comes Robbins, holding the ball, I fancy. Robbins goes to ground. The umpire says no prior opportunity.
That's another great tackle there by Scotland. Just swings him around in the tackle. No free kick given. That's hard, tough football inside.
Yes, marvellous tackles. Back to back. Houlihan flings it out. Cooney's got it. Ackermanis a chance. Snaps it. It's good.
Early on. So had some good moments. West was very good there. Lots of the ball. And in the goal square, interestingly, with Gibbs, so he's taken him back. So bright start to this game, a lot of goals. Carlton got the first couple. Dogs have got 4 of the last 5. And they're coming again here through Gian Siracusa, who stretched it all the way to full forward. Johnson's leap, gives it to West. Been a while since he kicked the goal and misses. Tim, you didn't answer the question. Is it Are you suggesting, Dennis, the trigger is the goal itself, or is it just the rotation? Is it just time to come off?
I think, without sounding like Dr. Phil, it's designed that they come off feeling good. I really do.
I've never heard that explanation, no.
What is the explanation?
I think it's prearranged.
Oh, well,
I think it's just a timing issue.
it's a marvellous coincidence. So often players kick a goal and run directly off the ground. There's Walker. Gets a hand pass across, taken by Bannister. Bannister kicks it up towards the wing. We'll research that, Tim, you and I. We'll go to our respective clubs and see what we can do. You've got a club, I don't. The kick inside the forward 50. Going back, this is Harris, paddles it towards the boundary. Being pursued by Waite. Waite does very well. Bounce to Blanchard McDough for Harris. Cross over the top. Down goes Morris, coming through is Harris. It carried the ball like a radioactive panini. The kick wasn't good. Here's a chance for Saddington. Carrazzo, who's been very good. Bavoa! It hung a long time in the air, but eventually got to Fev. This should be a mere bagatelle.
No, he just thinks his way through this gently. Favola.
He trails Tony Lockett on his career by 1,000 goals. And he's still chipping away.
I just answer your question before I go any further. The reason it is prearranged, and they're told that they are going to spend a certain amount of time on the ground before they're interchanged. The best time to be interchanged is after a goal, because that's when you're not going to find yourself with one less player in a forward line. So players understand that when there's a break in the play like that, that's the time to come off, because that has been prearranged.
But why do they have to kick it? I mean, wouldn't any goal suffice?
Yeah, any goal, yeah, but it just may be that that's the coincidence.
Dennis reckons he hasn't got a club, Tim, but maybe Fev's part of his club, the Italian team.
Of the century, Bruce, yes.
Well, Committee wasn't in the team of the century.
Been a good weekend for Italian goal kickers here at the MCG. Rocker with those 5 on Friday night. So Fev with an opening goal.
You put Committee in your team of the century, you also get a song with it. You get a club song with it too.
I was eligible, actually, too, which was disconcerting. I thought I went along there for a pleasant surprise. Had to work.
So the Blues with the ball. Carrazzo, Hurlahan. So they build here to Saddington. It's his 4th match back, Saddington, so it's getting some game time, and that's a poor kick. Just over the line. It's a free kick. So the Doggies to bring it out. Gilby, it was an Anderson. Across to Hurlahan. Getting it from Saddington. Wiggins in there hard, along with Addison. And Cooney just searching for it. Gilby tried to get it to McMahon. Power was there with Lappin. Blues make a contest with Fisher. Lots of Doggies around the ball. Waite, terrific. Murphy been busy. Simpson on the right side for him. Couldn't find the space. Gibbs. O'Halpin just come on. Hot footy for a moment. Still O'Halpin. Oh! Got away with it. Little one in. Oh, gee, I wish Fev had got hold of it. He would have banged it through. Still rolling around. Go on, Dennis, help me out.
Santana goes back for a rematch. They're working him hard. Slips it away. Good hand pass, Wiggins. Here's an opportunity. Long kick is good. And that's Blackwell just on the ground.
Just one way to get your stats up for O'Halpin. Now he's going to do the ruck work. Well,
Carlton fans love him. They love his energy that he brings to the side.
Speaking of energy, he just needs it right now. That was one heck of an effort, wasn't it?
Yep.
And the Blues did it the hard way. Blackwell finishing it off, and they're back in front. Goal for goal at the G. It just might be a day for a shootout, you reckon?
Thank you.
Oh, this is the way they play their football, Carlton. This is the way that Dennis likes his sides to play, up-tempo.
And they're playing against the ultimate entertainers in some ways, aren't they? The Doggies over the last couple of years. They don't mind it like this. Cooney away, a second, a third, getting within range. 52 out, going for goal. Johnson getting back with Saddington and Walker. And behind.
When you engage in a shootout, what it gets down to is your efficiency, your ability to actually hit targets. And I would think that the Bulldogs have a more skillful side out there than Carlton. It'll have to be the pressure applied by Carlton that will be the difference.
Scotland drives it to the outer side. At the back, chance for Wiggins. Went hard. Over the top is White. And the umpire balls it up.
Both go on the footy. Well done.
Well, they had to keep the Bulldogs to 75 a quarter. There's still a bit of time left in this quarter. They've got them at 58 at the moment, and Carlton are not a side who are noted for a high possession.
Just under 7 minutes till quarter time. O'Halpin knocks it back, taken by Boyd under pressure. Kicks to half forward. Robbins had it bounce off his chest, found it on the ground, heard the voice. Higgins into the part of back of Manus. Following up there is Eagleton. Could have almost got it for Eagleton. Houlihan did well. Scotland sold into trouble. Walker, the beneficiary of the hand pass, just gets a kick off, but it doesn't go too far. Power. Rebound opportunity. Kicks it back over their heads.
Walker just had to do
So Cooter on. Cooter and West, there's a bit of footy between those two, getting up towards 600. So 10 individual goal scorers in the opening term. A 5-goal quarter by both teams. That's the 4th week in a row the Blues have kicked 5 in the opening term. Murphy getting a lot of it to centre half forward. Built it away from Whitnall. The attack there was very good from Bannister, and now Fisher out wide. Simpson, little short kick in Vordo. Halpin, this will be interesting. Runs right in and then loads it up and gets it.
Terrific running goal. That's his one out there at half forward. He's working overtime, and now he's back in the middle to do some rocking against Street. Street too tall, won it down to West, goes with the outside of the boot. Robbins in front, hands in the back, and he's going to get the free kick.
No! Hand in the back there, clearly.
Umpire Kennedy, perfect view of it. Robbins will kick from right on the 50.
Carlton started well in the centre bounce clearances. The Bulldogs now 12-6 out of the centre. That's a telling factor.
Robbins possibly their best forward last week. Battled hard against overwhelming odds. Gives it a ride. Pretty good looking kick. That's okay. Wonderful long range goal.
I think this
67 matches for the Doggies. Robbins has averaged almost 2 goals a game. Walker's had a forgettable 5 minutes, to be truthful. A free kick and then that poor kick earlier where he brought the ball back into power. So 12 different goal scorers. Halpin building forward. Griffin out wide to Street. Street lumbers down the wing. Free kick to Johnson.
definitely a free kick over the shoulder in the back, but smart play there by Street. He saw that Tando Halpin actually went to the contest, so immediately saw, there's a hand in the back, immediately saw that he just ran to the wing side space. Wasn't sure that the Bulldogs were going to win the ball, but if they did, he was going to be out there on his own.
Johnson looking to be the first multiple goal scorer in a high-scoring opening term. Good-looking kick. Sheesh. Gee, they are accurate, aren't they?
Cameron White coming off with a left shoulder injury. He's just being looked at by the doctor at the moment. He's in a fair bit of pain. It looks like a little bit of neck problem as well.
Centre clearance is 8-3 the Bulldogs' way. And another one, beautifully done. Street having a real influence. This is Cooney. Sets it up, high ball. Johnson from behind. Oh, terrific mark in front. Thornton. Awkward position. Johnson had the run, but Thornton really stretched for that one. Runs into the sunshine. Kicks it towards the outer side. Telling kick. Wiggins has got it. Just the defensive side of the wing. The 45 points by the Bulldogs so far, their best first term this season. Bannister digs it out. Carrazzo liked his game. Goes to Fisher. Fisher close to the boundary line on the outer side towards half forward Whitnall. He's 60 metres out from goal. Just under 4 minutes till quarter time. He does. This one long in a dangerous spot. And again, the man with the run and the leap didn't have the judgment. This time Gilby took the mark. It was Ackland who flew very high, and a collective gasp from the crowd. This is Addison.
Back to Gilby. It's a great mark by Gilby, wasn't it? His kick doesn't find a target for a change, and Fisher works back in front of Griffin to take the mark. Fisher inboard, Simpson. Bannister was behind him. Simpson, normally a good user of the footy, loads it up to full forward. Blues have got numbers here. And Walker it is, I think.
Yep.
So from one end to the other, he's done a hunter, hasn't he?
Didn't have an opponent then. He was free, all alone. There's the great judgment there by Gilby. A wonderful fly by Ackland, but he missed everything. Here's the mark by Walker. Just Bulldogs just lost their assignments.
So Walker kicks the goal, so the Blues keep it ticking over.
Well, it's a shootout here at the MCG. It has just been a wonderful game of open end-to-end football. I'm just trying to work out how Walker got free here. He did start the game in defence, so he's obviously just pushed forward as the play's gone forward, and the Bulldogs just haven't been aware that he's now playing in the forward lines. We see someone just pushing forward now. It's Lindsay Gilby. He's actually picking him up now.
Fair to say Carlton's goals coming from some rather unlikely sources so far in this game, but plenty of them, plenty for both teams. There's Rodney Eade having a bit to say and giving advice, sage advice from the row behind him. David Schwartz in the coach's box. We'll hear from him at quarter time. Carrazzo could have been held, no free kick. Sitting down was West, immediately attracted a crowd, did well, got it out to Griffin. Was he taken high? Well, he may be holding the ball. Well, he was taken high, says the umpire. Advantage was paid. McMahon goes to the outer wing. John Siracusa did pretty well with the body. Sliding in there was Higgins. John Siracusa back to Higgins. Higgins is away. Sets it to about 20 metres from goal. Johnson in front. Fisted away by Saddington. Taken by Scotland. Koutafidis. Now Thornton just outside the 50. Needs to be careful. Did Scotland. Scotland left it behind. West didn't. Went to Eagleton. Hooks it back inside the forward 50. Saddington once more. Influential moments ago. Houlihan left without it. Saddington again. Tidied up on 3 occasions there. Koutafidis. Anderson. Carrazzo. Scotland. Little chip towards the wing. Anderson. Looking spent. Goes over the top to Koutafidis. Carrazzo, gee, knocking up, getting possessions. That's 11. And he finds a teammate in Fisher.
Very good in the air, this bloke. Carrazzo's had plenty of the ball. This is just a long kick to the attacking zone, and Fisher just kept his eyes on the ball. No contest in the air in the end.
So a goal here. Carlton back in front. And that would be interesting. The Bulldogs, as we said, having their best first term, could still trail at quarter time.
Carrazzo's had 11 touches in this first quarter.
He does that a lot, doesn't he? He's rookie listed with the Cats. Just knows how to find the football. Star youngster. Fisher's kick hasn't got the carry. Off hands across the line.
Just dropped it wrong, didn't he? It fell out of his hands in the end. That's a bad miss in a quarter where hardly anybody has been missing.
Up to 80 possessions now, the Bulldogs, for this first quarter.
Had Fisher been playing on Friday night, he wouldn't have even been noticed.
True. It was the story of the night in the end, wasn't it?
Yep.
Docker's so close, but inaccurate. Darcy belts away.
At quarter time, one area they're really going to have to focus on, Carlton's brains trust, is their centre bounce clearances. They're getting absolutely smashed in there.
Can they get a late goal to get the lead back? They kicked 2 before the Doggies had really got going here. Ackland won that one. Scotland, Bentic and West. Bentic stood up in the tackle, but West is dogged, isn't he? He does not know what the word defeat means.
Thank you.
He's had 12 in the first quarter too, so he's been productive and prolific.
Have a look at the footy first.
So under a minute remaining. 13 goal scorers in the opening quarter. It's got to be some sort of a 2007 record. Simpson's kick inside. Harris just had the fumble and then left it for John Siracusa, and now Hargrave.
Comes away from half back, pinpoints it. Now crosses away through midfield. Needs to finish here. Was pushed in the back. And it's a real 8-free kick. Gee, that hurts.
Brad Johnson's.
Was that in the act of kicking, though?
I thought so. Although, in fairness, it didn't affect the kick. It was still a pretty good kick, so we'll need to see that again. I'd move downfield to see who was going to compete. Oh.
It was just after the kick.
Only half a step, though. Still, Johnson's got a chance at his third after the siren. And the siren put him off. Obviously, it was the turn of the Carlton timekeeper. So, a behind stretches the lead. In fact, it doubles the lead for the Western Bulldogs, and you've got to say entertaining. 7-4 to 7-2 quarter time at the G.
Their heaviest first quarter scores for the year. Biggest score for the Blues at 7-2, and the same for the Doggies at 7-4. 13 individual goal scorers. Let's go into the sanctum of the box where the Bulldogs coaching staff is today. David Swartz, the Ox up there. Ox, what was it like right at the start of the match?
Yeah, Bruce, it was like a calm before the storm. They were just waiting for players to take their positions, and once they did, that's when all the coaches got involved, just sorting out where their matchups were, some of the things that they hadn't planned for. What they were trying to do at the start was get a number back and create their run and stop Carlton's start. They identified that maybe Carlton getting off to a good start was one reason that they really wanted to block, and it didn't quite work, and after the first two goals, a couple of the plans went out the window.
Oxy was very animated with his defenders at quarter time. Did you get the sense in the box he was unhappy with the back six?
Yeah, he just thought that a couple of things didn't go their way, that they didn't have their matchups, that when players were changing in and out, they weren't quick enough to react. But other than that, I think Rocket and the boys in the box were pretty pleased with the start. The one thing they did identify, they know when players are on right from the start and when players may be a little bit off the boil, and they identify that really quickly.
Thanks for that, Ox. Look forward to chatting to you at half-time. Reckon you've got to ask him the question about blokes coming off after kicking a goal.
The Ox in the box, that's saleable, isn't it? Sounds like Chinese takeaway.
One of the things that Carlton would have been happy with at quarter time would have been their goal spread. They've had 7 individual goal scorers. Favola did spend some time on the bench, but for too often, I guess he's been the lone hand in their forward line, and they've been looking to do that, just spread their goals. And I would think that they've been happy with the rotations they've been able to perform in the forward line.
Saw Carazzo trussed up. So quarter time at the MCG. Favola, just the 1 goal so far. In fact, all singles apart from Brad Johnson's 2. It could have been 3. That miss right on the siren. Right on the siren. Mark Murphy got the first of them. He's been lively across half forward. A real entertaining game so far. Plenty of goals. Sunday football from the MCG. Beautiful day in Melbourne. Ideal for footy. Bounce comes from umpire Kennedy. One down by Ackland. 12 possessions now, Carazzo. Not his best, though. He gave it away. Boyd got it across to Cross, who kicks it down towards half forward. Johnson, what a wonderful mark to space. Gilby, well within his range. Well worked by the Dogs out of the middle.
Had plenty of the ball in the first quarter too. Gilby, 7 touches. Started a little bit slowly on Murphy, who got away from him on a couple of occasions, but in the end they shifted Murphy back into the midfield, and he's a wonderful setter up this play.
A kick leading the player. Gilby kicks from 45, working it right to left, not quite enough, and a behind to start proceedings in the second term for the Dogs.
So missed by Johnson just before the break, in fact right on the siren. And that one from Gilby, not an easy shot. 3-point advantage. Houlihan deep. Ackland was second in line. Saddington first in line. Higgins gets it out. Cross. Well done over the top by Bannister. That was clever. To Walker. Probing handball. A fabulous handball to Simpson, who didn't have to break stride. And then he stretches himself, goes a second, and then gets right within range. Not going to come back. Didn't have a lot on the ball. And coming across Harris. Turned out to be a pretty easy mark for Harris in the end. So a poor finish from Simpson. I think he was exhausted by the time he took the kick. Never really got balanced, did he?
And all the forwards actually pushed back towards the goal.
Boyd's kick is a poor result, and then Fisher. So Fisher from 55.
Favola's on the move. He goes in that direction. Favola goes under the football. Was he pushed? No free kick. Carlton fans wanted it, particularly after some free kicks in that area in the first term to the Western Bulldogs. Street missed the mark. Knocked forward on the outer side out there. Standing in the way for Carlton initially was Walker. Over the ball, Eagleton. Got it out, Jan Siracusa, involved moments ago across half-back, sends it down towards half-forward. Good tackle, Gibbs. Got Robbins down, right on the boundary line. Heard the umpire. It's not coming out. Ricky Olorenshaw.
Notice Andrew Carrazzo sporting a lovely headband. He had a head gash just at the end of that first quarter, and he had a tension done during quarter time, but he's okay.
There he is, Rip, right on cue. He had a terrific opening turn, didn't he? He bent it from centre wing. Is it down the ground?
Yeah, buddy. Hey. Downfield, downfield. He was closest.
Here we go. Benning kicks the ball, and gee, there's not much in that, but they're 1-1 now.
See if Wake can finish.
Got you.
Been some goals scored from free kicks so far today. In a big scoring match today, Wake ball kick. So that's the second time today he has missed the lot. The other one was on the run in the opening term. So Dennis Baker's talked a lot about wasting it.
And talking about wasting, Brendan Favola just smashed the ball over the fence, so they've been given a 50-metre penalty here. He just needs to watch himself, Favola, because after that free kick wasn't given about 2 minutes ago, he actually stopped and had the chat to the umpire, so he needs to concentrate on the things that he can control.
Gee, that's a poor result, isn't it? Having a shot for goal, and then the Doggies get the ball right here.
Wested brilliantly. McMahon on the burst. Penetrating kick inside the forward 50. Higgins was tackled on the way down, surely. He wasn't paid the mark and was a bit stiff. Hacked out of there by Higgins, who was lying on the ground. Gibbs to Scotland in desperate trouble, back over the shoulder. Ackland taken down by Hargrave. Jarred loose and taken across the line by Houlihan. Well, Higgins was a bit stiff twice there. Almost the mark, and then seemed to be tackled in midair. Boundary throw in. Street tries to hook it down behind. Carrazzo knows where to go. Bounces out of the tackle into the path of Walker. Unkind bounce. Gilby and Cross combined. Cross and Gilby both on the ground though. Eventually to Higgins. Now a chance for West. West goes in short. Pinpoint accuracy. Boyd loads up. Johnson will fly from behind. It's going to be a free kick, and it's going to the Dogs. Scotland can't believe it. Well, he's holding on. He better believe it. Daniel Jan Siracusa then lining up at goal. Heath Scotland grew up barracking for Footscray. His footy hero was Doug Hawkins, and he wasn't alone. Old habits die hard. He's given them one here. Daniel Jan Siracusa. 25 metres out, you'd back him. Normally exquisite skills. No problem.
Dog coach sitting on a 9-point lead. Dogs doing well out of the middle. There have been 5 goals from free kicks today. 3 to the Dogs and a couple to the Blues. Carrazzo just terrific. Walker getting involved. His handball to Murphy, to Whitnell. It was a big stretch. White back on the field. He was injured in the opening term. Whitnell had him for a while. They had all the numbers there, Carlton. Bentic sprayed it a bit. Favola, Set Simpson, not quite. Lappin. The one that got away, I think, for Lappin.
That was good.
There's one that got away from Favola there too, because he's been actually looking for a contest where he's going to be competing one-on-one. He got it on that occasion, but he just wasn't able to lock the ball in with his one arm.
They panicked a bit, the Blues, didn't they? They had all the numbers there when Bentic got hold of it. Now here's Waite. Addison goes in hard for the Bulldogs. And I think we're going to get a bounce.
Dennis Pagan, in his 15th season, his winning percentage is 51, despite the batterings of the last 5 years. It's impressive in its way. Reverse psychology. Things going downhill, of course, in recent times. Cooney, awkward kick, made to look okay by the dash of Boyd. Comes across the ground to Hargrave. Look at Gilby run. Hargrave spotted him into his path. Gilby has it. Coming is Gian Siracusa. He'll get it next. 70 metres out. Now where will they go? Johnson too short, goes shorter still though and finds Boyd. Barely the 15. Boyd's got it right on the 50. Johnson wants it long. He puts it wide. Johnson won't get to this contest. In front, Saddington. Here's a chance for Lappin. Needs to be careful here. That ball initially trickled out. Carrazzo's got it. Johnson is having a debate with the umpire and the ball was right behind him. And we'll have a ball up. Like Speaker's corner down there with the happiest man in the AFL.
He was ready to blow his whistle on 3 occasions there. The umpire and the ball just bobbled out each time he went to blow.
What stopped him was Jono talking to him and asking him had he heard the one about. There goes straight over the top. He's a funny man, that Jono. In there is Murphy. Sockers it towards the line, then left it behind. Higgins does well. Ackermanis loves this situation. Bit of a test. Failed it.
3 shots for goal for Acker today. Kicked 1 in the opening term. So a lot more of the footy doggies. 14 shots now to 9. But the Blues in touch, but they've just dried up in terms of scoring.
You're right though, Bruce. They're getting far too much of the footy now though, the Western Bulldogs.
Saddington the target. That's a good mark. The ex-Swan.
Played well.
Play on!
A lot to go to.
Whitnell. Good hands. Good kick. It was a lovely kick from Saddington. Now for Vola. Whitnell, that's a fantastic kick. Oh, he had on the lead for Vola, who actually drew 2 opponents and left weight on his own.
That was a sensational kick. Not many players in the AFL would even be able to attempt it, let alone execute it. Just watch this. He swings onside. Favola's led straight up the ground. He drew Harris, who dropped off his direct opponent there in Jared White, and that was beautifully spotted up by Whitnell.
So White 2 out of bounds on the full today. Gets it.
The second mouse often gets the cheese. Favola attracted 2 by himself, and that was a much better kick. Ackland and Street. Street has been dominant. Eagleton kicks it very high. Play-on's the call. That was a bit hard on Addison. Interesting hand pass over the shoulder from Ackermanis to Cross. This is Griffin, gets through, kicks from 45, lights it off the bit. It's a goal.
Dominating the centre clearances. 9-6-8-2. Street went early and did very well to Cross to Eagleton. Just let it roll out of the arms onto his foot in the end. McMahon to Cross to Harris. Harris to Addison. Addison through the centre square. Nice looking kick off the boot. Didn't quite get to Higgins. And now the Blues with an opportunity. Saddington got it from Houlihan. Saddington's kick. Awkward bounce for Darcy. Waite went early. Gilby, who'll try and draw Waite. He's such an athlete, Waite, that he's a hard man to beat. Good hands from Darcy. And then Gilby knew he had a problem and tried to make it as awkward as possible for Saddington, and he succeeded. But Saddington goes back, and now Anderson's got a bit of time to your man, Dennis, and he's getting a lot of it.
Looks fearsome, Carrazzo. What a beautiful pass. Lappin. Now Simpson. From about 80 metres out. Favola is 1 out. Had it bounce off his chest. Diving in there was Hargrave, and Feb is not going to like this, because Hargrave will get a free kick. Umpire Kennedy not having any debate. And I think Fev knew what it was all about.
The kick actually shouldn't have gone to Favola. Should have gone to Fisher. He led up the ground. It was a half kick then by Simpson. He tried to kick the longer kick to Favola. They are really Favola conscious when they go forward.
Hargrave goes out wide. Fev with that second tackle on Morris. But certainly plenty of time to hear the whistle. Around the outer side, White runs to 55, lobs it towards full forward. Gian Siracusa went back. He'll get the football. Well done, Cooney. And Gian Siracusa put it into the fat bit. The base of the post there from about 5 metres away.
It does kick a lot of points, Gian Siracusa. He is a nice kick, but He hasn't had his goal-kicking boot on this year.
It was a good effort by Walker, actually, wasn't it? He threw
mate.
himself across the ball and just put some pressure on him. Anderson and now Carrazzo, who has had a lot of it. This is his 17th disposal. Not a good kick, though, and Ackerman is able to fill the hole. And Brendan Favola's just having a really frustrating afternoon. He needs a lucky break. He needs something to go right. Cooney started interchange, has been productive. Now Eagleton's just in a beautiful spot for him. And gets it.
Familiar faces looking on there. Marty Pask and Liesl Jones in the crowd. Look at those kicks. Carlton halfway through the term, kickless in Seattle virtually. There's the bounce, knocked down by Ackland, taken by Blackwell out of the middle, so that was a kick. There's a hand pass. It came from Wiggins to Murphy, who gets a kick, but not the most effective one. Down towards the pocket, hacked out of there towards the line by Morris, and that will do.
Gee, that was great pressure there by Addison.
He can tackle. He's one of their best tacklers, and I think that's why they've got him in the team. Last week,
Look at that.
he was the one bloke who tackled like Sydney.
Got some pace too.
Tossed in, well, just over the shoulder of Bannister. It wasn't the boundary umpire's best throw in, and now umpire Kennedy decides that the boundary umpire did not do well enough.
Well,
unfortunately for the boundary umpire, that's not reciprocal.
No, I was just going to say, as long as they do that when they get a poor bounce around the ground, we'd be happy. I reckon the boundary umpires would be happy too.
Can you imagine the boundary ump just strolling out? Do it again, Hayden.
Great tap.
Hargrave, power, cross. Runs inside the centre square. Clever kick. Robbins couldn't hang on. Gibbs a lot of poise, but he's battling three. Taken by Griffin at close quarters. Addison. Tackled by Carrazzo, who goes again. Carrazzo, well done. The hand pass, though, intercepted by Darcy. The kick's okay, though. Plenty of dogs around the football. Sliding in Griffin. He's going to get the free. He was in two minds there. I think he was thinking about, and he's been hurt, slapping the ball onto Gian Siracusa, who was free, got himself down, and then it all became very awkward.
It was unnecessary in the end, though. It slowed down there, Scotland. He didn't have to commit to the tackle.
Well, Griffin is going to take the free, and he seems okay.
He started the season with an injury in the NAB Cup in Canberra, so he had a bit of a slow start and then injured last week. Johnson received it. On he goes to Power. So Power from 55, centering ball right to the hot spot. Carlton had the numbers. Acker at the bottom of it. Trosh tried to get it out, couldn't quite. Toe poke from Gibbs, and the ball up now. Ricky Olorenshaw. Rick.
Rodney Eade had a real go at his defenders at quarter time. He thought they were being lazy, and in particular he singled out Brian Harris. He wants them to run and spread when they win the ball back, and I reckon they've really responded to his spray.
And putting it on the board, 10-7, 8-2, so dominating the second term. Darcy front spot. Saddington stood up pretty well against the onslaught here. And Cooney drew the high tackle from Carrazzo.
First one was high. Give it now. Give it to him now, please. Okay.
So Acker coming off. The Blues are just, you can feel a sense of frustration, can't you, with Carlton right now?
Yeah, Carrazzo just didn't get low enough. I'm not sure that he went all that high. I mean, there was initial wipe across probably just above the chest, almost under the chin there, but it actually wasn't a bad tackle in the end.
I think so many of those decisions are based on just the angle the umpire looks from, and that was a little half push maybe and half around the shoulder, but Cooney's normally a very, very good kick for goal, and he hasn't kicked that quite so well, so a miss. A lot of shots for goal today from free kicks, and right now Carlton need a goal, and they probably need some disciplined footy before half-time.
Scotland to Gibbs. Usually uses the ball very well. That's no exception. He's got all the skills. Bryce Gibbs.
Favola's up to centre-half forward now, and Murphy's actually pushed to the goal square. Wiggins just making his way back now.
Yeah, Wiggins at right half back, sends it long down towards half forward. Knocked away by O'Halpin. And Waite decides to lunge for the line, takes Cooney with him. In fact, he's been penalised for holding it. Has he? No. I thought for a moment he was reacting to a decision he didn't like, but just had a word to the umpire anyway. Might as well when he's that close. Satanta hooked it down behind. Well done, Blackwell to Houlihan. Kicks inside the forward 50 and ghosting across in front of the pack is Fisher.
Mark, you locked his arm in there, so that's not a free. It's your mark. Back here. Cam, thank you.
Yeah, it's always disappointing, isn't it?
Fisher's got it.
That was really good play there by Satanta, helping out to stop play. Just actually able to push the ball back to the favoured side just to create that opening.
There it is.
And there's the one-on-one contest and Fisher just sliding forward.
I'm not sure locked his arm. It's not a free kick. Isn't a free kick. Fisher puts it through.
Dennis Pagan. So Fisher, a goal in every match he's played so far this season. And back to a 2-goal game. So the Blues stay in touch, even though the Dogs have dominated the second term. Waite and Carrazzo, two of the better players for Carlton. Out wide, Fisher. He's a very, very good forward, Fisher. Down the line. Favola couldn't quite. To Houlihan, who's gone forward. Arched his back, gets it back to Blackwell. Oh, well done, Cross. He just read it so well. In close quarters was able to take it out of the air from Blackwell, and then Eagleton will probably be happy with the line here as he works it and keeps on working. He's stayed on his feet, gives Griffin the run of it. Waite just worried him out of it. Thornton to Saddington to Waite. Promising build up now. Haven't seen much of Cooter on the ground. Simpson gets around Boyd. This is the important kick in the sequence of play. No. Didn't really give Fair or Whitnell the advantage, did he? And Harris.
His kicking's been disappointing inside the 50. Simpson from the midfield had to do more with that kick.
Nice kick by Hargrave coming out. White under pressure. Johnson just needs to get it on the ground. Tried to, succeeded, but Thornton kept coming. Simpson on the wing, looks down towards half forward, and Whitnell surrounded, but it found him. Well done. Nice kick again. Whitnell spots for Bowler. Well, we saw him find a man deep in attack, Waite, earlier on with a magnificent right foot kick, and that time with the left.
You know, the only thing wrong with Lance Whitnell is the fact that he was born 20 years too late. He would have been a wonderful footballer in the 80s when the game was played a completely different way. He's coming off the ground now.
That's fine praise.
Well, we criticise a lot about what he can't do, but he just doesn't have the athleticism to play, you know, sustainable football in the modern era.
The supporting cast doesn't help him either, given his limitations, as Favola comes in and hangs it out to the right. Maybe in a topside team with a lot of runners.
And a lot of other good forwards as well.
Yes, yeah. Lively type forwards, but
every time he touches the ball, he just strokes it beautifully with his feet.
I'm not sure that last kick, as good as the first kick was, wasn't a better kick.
Was his non-preferred side, too.
Whichever way you look at it, it's been a big career, hasn't it? Over 200 games, and
It's just a hit.
been a heck of a player. No helping. He was off. Now, Thornton gets the bounce. 100th game today. He's only played in 23 winning matches, Thornton, so wouldn't he just love to improve on that percentage in this milestone match? As Waite goes wide to Fisher, and that was always going to stretch him.
Talked about it pre-game, what the target was to keep the Western Bulldogs under 300. At the moment, they're right on target for that 300. Still about 6 minutes to go in this second quarter. 5 minutes to go in this second quarter.
And certainly Carlton on the scoreboard right in this match. O'Halpin was a hot ball for Cooter. Couldn't quite get it out. I think it might have been almost a scoop back by the Bulldogs. And then West works it out. That's a good kick. And it finds Gian Siracusa.
Comes across the ground. Beautiful kick. Johnson, little chip inside the forward 50. Well, Robbins should have hung on. Trying to knock it out of there. Gibbs.
Good boy.
Gibbs on top of Cooney. And
Did that well.
Yeah.
He did that well, Gibbs. He had to get a hand into that mark against Boyd, against Robbins. Did that, then won the ball again at ground level.
Two #1 draft picks going at it, eh? Carranza with the quick hands got it out of there. Simpson, Bentek drives it long towards half forward. Blues could do with a goal. Favola was up. Lappin advances the ball, but it's all Dogs back. Hargrave got to his feet, scrambles it out to West. He's been quieter in this term, coughed it up under pressure. Bentic did brilliantly. Murphy goes to Lappin, swings it wildly, and misses just about everything. Sneaks it through for a behind.
Gee, that's a terrible sign when you see someone like Lappin taking a snap. You've got two players forward of you in better positions. All he had to do was lower his eyes. He could have gone to Fisher, he could have gone to Favola, and they've both given him a spray after he snapped that shot.
Yeah, terrible result really, because it was on the handball over the top to either one of them. It was a give-me goal because there were no doggies back there. It's interesting. Could be having to give one up.
And it gives you the indication that the Carlton players aren't on the same page and they're not working for each other in all aspects of the game.
I guess the only thing, it's been a little while since the Dogs have kicked a goal. They haven't put them away, have they?
Oh, no.
And right now, Carlton are going okay. And Bentic gets them really close.
Oh, straight to the phone, Brendan Favola, and I reckon I know who's on the other end of the line.
Today 10-5. No surprises there. Street knocks it down. 14 individual goal scorers for Carlton. Their club record is 18, so they're on pace to challenge that. Over the football is Cross, and that ball not coming out.
Great chance. Good footy.
Now, Dennis, you said 14 individual goal scorers for Carlton.
Straight back, guys, straight back.
That's not right, is it?
No holes.
Can't be right, can it?
Their club record for it, they're on 10 goals, I think 10 individuals.
That'd be right, Bruce. I'm not going to argue that, so maybe the club record is 14. Back goes Simpson on a collision course there. Well done by Griffin. Gave it away to Higgins. Higgins runs into an open goal and puts it through. That's his second. That gives us 18 individual goal scorers for the game, because Higgins got his second there, so the record is 25. Too many figures, Bruce.
On track, and Higgins with a couple. And when he scores one, he invariably scores multiples, Higgins. That's been the pattern of his short career.
Get off in. Give me the footy. Give me the football.
West has had 17 touches, but he had 12 to half-time, so he's actually been kept a little bit quiet in the second term.
Gee, there's a bit of aggression there, wasn't there, from the umpiring fraternity? Wanted that ball and got it, and then threw it up in a hurry. Walker was able to put the pressure on Griffin, and Griffin then put it on Waite, and I think it's a free kick to Waite. Interesting player, Waite, isn't he? Could be an absolute elite footballer. He's knocking on the door, I reckon. Carato to fall forward, Fisher, but Harris easily. It's all there, and then bangs wide to John Syracuse, Scotland closing. Important couple of minutes here. Blues got close. Dogs kick away again. Blues have led at half-time the last 3 weeks and been run over. Just a goal either way.
Those big, long, high kicks into the forward line, though, for Carlton, they actually have to come to ground. You can't allow those marks to be taken. Harris has now taken 3 contested marks inside the defensive 50.
Cross's 15th disposal, so he's spot on for what he basically does week in, week out. He and West are just so consistent.
Kick inside the 50. And going back and doing very nicely. They're helping.
He just shows some glimpses, doesn't he, Dennis?
Yeah. Of
somebody that is going to be a player.
That's his spot on the ground. He's done his best work in about a 10-metre radius there across half forward. Or in this case, across half back. Same spot on the ground in the first term and now the second. Carrazzo, the game. So much of the football. How many is that? 21 possessions. Here's Bannister as the clock continues to run down to half-time. Bannister sets it high. Whitnell. But the mark is taken by Harris. Now, Rick told us that Harris was spoken to at quarter time by the coach to do a bit more, particularly his marking and defence. Well, hasn't he responded? A willing subject. West across the ground. This is Boyd. They're setting it up for the final fling at goal here. John Syracuse just over the minute. They realise they've got time and they want to maximise this. Kicks inside the forward 50. Going back, Johnson. What a courageous mark. Oh, that's terrific.
It's been like watching a basketball game. You're spot on, Dennis. The way they worked the clock there, knowing they had one big chance and they weren't going to give Carlton a chance. It was early with the umpire. He was in a hurry. Wanted that ball.
This is a great mark. Just eyes on the ball, eyes on the ball. Got no idea what's coming the other way.
I think for a moment had to grit those happy teeth as he went back. Didn't know what was coming. Johnson kicks, and this time late in the term registers a goal. He's got 3.
Smiling.
So a couple of late goals. Higgins and then Johnson. Johnson with 3.
Back here on the line, centre square infringement.
So maybe another late one. An opportunity. West, if someone can take the mark now, and they do. So for the second time in the match, a doggy taking a shot on goal after the siren. But this time Power's got a bit more time to think about it.
Just a high percentage part of the ground to be kicking from too.
He's kicked a goal in the first term.
That's it, mate. Thank you. That's it.
So this would be a big finish to this first half. And Power up and underneath. But the Bulldogs with their biggest first half score for the year. They lead by 15 over the Blues. It's 12-8 to 10-5. Tweedies has only been on the ground for 28 of the 66 minutes to date. Ricky, how would you use him? Can he play a part in the second half?
Yeah, Bruce, he's definitely been underutilised in that first half. He spent some time on the wing and in the midfield, but I think it'd be a good idea to push him forward. If you had him and Whitnell and also Vavola inside their forward 50, it'd really stretch that Western Bulldogs defence. Brian Harris, we saw take a number of marks in that second quarter. It would force him to then become more player conscious, and I think having Cooter up forward would give Carlton dimension up forward another stream.
Fair enough, Rick, and he did have a very good second half against the Crows last week with a couple of goals there. Just wonder about the mood of the Blues. They would have been a blue lot, I reckon, going in at half-time, don't you?
I think half-time came at a very good time for the Blues, actually, because you sensed that they were really finding it hard to combat the run of the Western Bulldogs and their efficiency inside 50. That may continue, but they've had a chance to think about it and settle themselves down. The margin 15 points. It was 2 at quarter time. So far 22 goals in the match. It's been a rip snorter. Harris, big second term. Carrazzo, 22 possessions to half-time, 11 and 11.
You know what that tells you, though? That they have no respect for Carrazzo and what he might do with the ball, because they have not put any time into him whatsoever, the Bulldogs, in the first half. Dennis, you're right, 22 possessions. He leads the players out there on the ground at the moment, but they are not. They're just letting him go. They're just letting him get the ball. There's Favola. He's back on the ground. They need a big second half from this man.
Start of the third term, Sunday football. Margin 15 points. Dogs on top, looking for their 6th victory. Ackland came over the top. Cooney, nice balance, kicks it down towards half forward. Coming up was Higgins. In trouble, Higgins. Got boot to ball. It wanders out towards the 50, taken by Boyd. And that wasn't the spot for him. The man playing his 100th, Thornton. Nice looking kick coming out too. Found Ackland. Breaking hard is Scotland, goes in that direction. Scotland got fingertips to it. Wiggins assisted him. Now it's taken by Blackwell into the path of Scotland. Got an obliging bounce 55 metres out. Lappin had it bounce past him. And coming through Hargrave for the Dogs. Chance for them around the outer side. Thornton taken down by Hahn. Flicked out of there by Griffin. Showing great dashes. Cooney finds himself 40 metres out. Was a little surprised. And that affected the kick.
That was funny because Cooney actually gave a spray to a player about 2 minutes ago about not giving the handball off to him, and then Ackermanis was free forward of Cooney. He should have just gone to his right and handballed the ball to him.
He's kicked 3 behind so far today, Cooney. Normally a terrific finisher. Wiggin around the far side at centre wing. An early goal for the Blues would tighten the match up on the scoreboard at least. Whitnell.
Oh.
No argument there from Whitnell. Griffin quickly to Eagleton. Running hard, the Dogs. Eagleton to centre half forward. Saddington gets back. He's played pretty well, Saddington. Comes wide to Blackwell and scored a goal in the opening term. he got that goal that took forever, the one that O'Halpin had about 9 assists in.
This is what Ackland needs to do. He can't compete against Street at the stop plays, but he's got to run him and actually become a player that they can direct the ball through.
Whitnell just trying to lay it off in the end, but no one at his feet, and this is where he gets exposed, isn't it? And now McMahon runs away and delivers to the hard-working Cooney.
He's forward of the wing. Well, Gibbs needs to turn around and come at him, eventually peeling off his Simpson. Well, that's too easy and a bit selfish. Cooney goes in and kicks an easy goal.
'50s, Ricky Olorinshaw.
Well, let's hope that Cooney goal actually wakens both sides out of the slumber. Down at ground level, there's not much intensity. There's no pressure from both sides. Like they've had a bit of a snooze at half-time.
Well, the Blues have got to get out of that in a hurry, don't they? They're down by the biggest margin in the match. Walker was good to Blackwell. Back to Walker, who started deep in defence today on Johnson. And that kick to Whitnell, unfortunately, because for the Blues, because Hargrave had gone to ground, but the ball running away.
They'll be happy with that matchup. Hargrave, he's a really good athlete on Lance Whitnell. As long as he can bring the ball to ground, that's going to be a real advantage for their back six. 19
individual goal scorers so far in this match. A remarkable figure. Lapham was searching for it. Murphy started well. Walker, I meant, back to Anderson, and then Walker runs out of play. So take 2 in the forward pocket.
They are the running bouncers, kings of the competition, the Western Bulldogs.
And nothing changing today. Jan Siracusa. Here the umpire asking them to try and knock it out, and again it's going to be a ball up.
Free kick against Brendan. You got the knee in him. Your kick. Your kick. Watch the knee. Ryan, your kick.
That's against Favola.
Yes. I think if he had a microphone next to the Fev, it might be tick, tick, tick. He's on a short fuse. No doubting that. Griffin comes away, kicks it beyond the wing. Ackermanis spilt it. The signs are not good for the Blues right now. Ackermanis pinpoints the ball. Cooney finding plenty of it early in this third term. Griffin inside the forward 50. Coming up, getting a hand pass away down there was Higgins. In trouble, Johnson. They battle after the football. Well played. Gibbs combined with Scotland. Carazzo. Well, he's been the one man who's thwarted the Bulldogs so far this afternoon. He's taped up. He's easy to find, but they haven't been able to close him down. Here's Wiggins having a long run inside the 50. Got it from Ackland. Deserves a goal. Fed from behind. Hit the post. Well, that was a good finish by most standards to a long run. Wiggins a bit unlucky. Here's Street in the opposite direction, not quite as quickly.
So Street on one side of the ground after Ackland on the other had set Wiggins away. Boyd the target. Simpson okay. Back towards Boyd. Scotland and Simpson. Good combination. Walker getting involved. Now the intensity seems to be lifting. Walker's kick to Waite. Waite quickly on. Poor handball. Lapham might get a second go free kick.
Gee, they're lucky there. Their disposal has been ragged all day, Carlton. They've had opportunities. They've had plenty of the ball, but they just don't dispose of the ball cleanly enough.
Addison just got the bad bounce and then was committed. And Lapham, who missed a golden opportunity to handball over the top to Fisher, stroke Favola before half-time. He kicked a goal in the opening quarter. Been a goal kicker throughout his long career. Good kick.
Matthew Lapham, his second goal. The first multiple amongst the Carlton players. His first came against Fitzroy a long time ago, round 24, 1994. Here's Scotland emerging from the centre. So suddenly Carlton have come to life. Of course, Lapham's goal for the Saints. There's the kick deep into attack from Wiggins. And now a Blue, he'll kick at his third from 15 metres out.
Matty, right in front, mate.
As if on cue.
He's a smart player. He worked really hard to actually get into that contest there. And Wiggins, another centre break for Carlton. That's a good sign. And that's just a long kick to the top of the square. It's a dangerous part of the ground there. But Lance Whitnell's, it was just his bulk
He's got 3. And suddenly Carlton right on the pace.
78 to 87. Well, the only other time Lappin's kicked 3 this season was against the Bombers here, when Carlton came from a mile back to win. So he's got 3 today, and Carlton suddenly with a bit of a sniff. Next goal becomes really interesting. Gibbs chased hard. Now he is a work in progress, and a good one at that. Houlihan, not a great handball. Now Gibbs is going to have to kick, and he does. Higgins was running him down. It was an awkward kick for Vola. Hooks it round the body to full forward. Whitnell almost. Ackland with him. Ackland might be in trouble there. No, ball up. Put his arms up, Ackland, to say, well, I haven't got the ball. Gee, they weren't far away from another goal there, with Whitnell going hard at it.
That was a good decision there. The ball held into Ackland.
Now McMahon threading his way through.
In characteristic fashion, runs away, kicks it out towards the wing. A good chase, though, affected the kick. Well done by Simpson. Takes the mark on the other side wing.
Great chase by Murphy, Dennis.
Kicks inside the forward 50 once more and again. Well, I think they'll be talking about him in the box. Ox saying they weren't identifying Carlton players too much. But Lappin is really becoming a headache. That's wonderful by Mark Murphy.
What's McMahon? Sorry, Dennis. McMahon's actually been taken from the ground there. He's Lappin's direct opponent. So he just hasn't been able to contest in the air with Lappin.
I was going to say, Tim, once again, Whitnell right there to protect Lappin, and Lappin reaps the reward.
Outs in this quarter. Lappin's kicked 3 goals in 4 minutes, and just before half-time we wanted to crucify him, didn't we? And because he wouldn't give the ball off. So half-time came at a good time, as Dennis said, for the Blues, and a good time for Lappin. He's really paid them back big time.
They've been winning the ball out of here too. They're
right back to where they were when Benty kicked that goal before half-time. Carazzo, Ackland, who's been busy in this term. Gibbs, important kick, and finds his man. They'll be in front after this.
And they've been winning the ball out of the centre. That's where it's all starting for them. 4-1 the centre clearances in this quarter. Gibbs, really wonderful use of the ball here by a young player. Just smart, just lowered his eyes, kick to the leading player.
So Fisher, can he put them in front? Not quite. Just a couple of metres too far. So Fisher with the 1 goal in the second term. Carlton within 2 points. Hey, Ricky, it's bubbling a bit now.
Yeah, it has definitely fired up. And Bulldogs just made a change. They brought Luke Darcy into the midfield just to try and get him a lift.
Addison from half back towards the outer side. Hahn, not sure he's had a possession today. Runs beyond the wing. Kicks inside the forward 50. Johnson goes back. Was crowded. Well done. Bannister got it forward. Taken by Houlihan. Now Thornton, the clever kick. Goes in short. Walker. Carazzo. Runs to the wing, looks towards half forward, sets it high. Favola attracts a crowd in from the side. Hargrave taken by Fisher, immediately claimed, hand passed it straight up in the air. Hargrave tried to tap it across to Cross. Cross did well. Was that in the back? Morris battles after it. In there is Fisher. In the opposite direction was Darcy. Offhands taken by Gilby. Creates some space to West, who goes again. John Siracusa, all the time in the world now. Made some space. Off to West. Or rather Power. Power kicks it up towards the wing. Eagleton in the opposite direction. Bannister. He's done some very good things, Bannister. And this man has really wasted the ball. Gibbs having his best game as a Blue. 14 possessions. Walker across the ground. White brilliantly done in mid-air. Found about 10 metres on landing. And Scotland kicks a goal.
The kids were getting bigger. They're 12 and 17 now.
The Bulldogs relinquished the lead. Was at the 27-minute mark of the first quarter. So Carlton back in front. A 4-goal to 1. When they beat the Bombers in round 3, they kicked 7-4 to 1-3 in the third term. Now Boyd out of the centre to John Siracusa. His 15th disposal. Wobbles it forward. And Walker cuts it off. Walker having a big turn. Simpson suddenly Carlton have got all the momentum. Carrazzo yet again inside to Wade, who goes inside again. Just went too far, set some problems up. This would be spectacular, and he has done it. What a goal! That'll lift them.
The Blues 5-2 to nothing in the last 10 minutes. It's coincided with Street coming off the ground early in the term. Bulldogs were doing okay. They started well. Boyd spins out of trouble, goes in short. Darcy has replaced Street inside the centre square, goes to Hahn, and Hahn gets a reply, and gee, didn't they need that.
So the disposals in this quarter, Carlton doubled the Bulldogs, and these centre clearance breaks are vital, aren't they? So the Doggies, Hahn just his second possession. So Darcy's free kick.
That hurts. That was just from one of the Carlton players coming off the line. In fact, it's the other way. The umpire's pointed the wrong way. So it was a Bulldog player that actually stepped over the line before the bounce.
But I heard the words, Darcy's ball. But so Ackland then goes long for Vola, who hasn't really been part of this onslaught from the Blues, and that might be a good sign. Jalen Siracusa, White in big trouble. Scotland terrific. Has a second crack. White with him. Ball up.
I reckon that would have been the concentration to half-time. One of the things that Dennis Pagan would have spoken about, apart from the centre-bounce clearances, which they've cleaned up and they've been good at, would have been the pressure that the forwards need to apply on the Bulldogs to stop those easy escapes.
Eagleton tries to get it out. Boyd, well done. Pushed it out wide. Lappin, who's been the star of this term with his 3 goals. Sweeping handball, okay. Blackwell, Carrazzo, back to Walker, back to Blackwell.
Houlihan from about 70 metres out towards full forward. Loose at the back. Who's got the speed? Morris has, and knocks it across the line. Pagan, no doubt well satisfied with this surge. Rodney Eade holding his nerve. Street still sitting on the bike. Down next to the bench. Here's Cross. It was a nice kick in. Cross's kick not so nice. At least it didn't look so good, but it found a man in Johnson who coughs it up. Taken by Simpson, goes with the right boot. Not his best effort. Eagleton, Ackermanis. Now there's a whistle. Boyd wanted to go, but he doesn't get very far.
No advantage here.
Oh, Boyd, it was a relay free, so Acker must have been put down. Boyd towards the pocket. Johnson leads back, but it won't stay in.
Played that well, Bannister. I thought that Johnson had him there, but he just made body contact at the right moment. Here's the free kick, just hanging on to Ackermanis.
Good call. Umpire Kennedy. Boundary thrown in the pocket then. Darcy from behind, almost clean possession, goes after the football. Now he needs to be careful, tries to feed it out. Gibbs didn't have it. Saddington goes down, and the umpire decides to ball it up. It's Carlton by 5 points.
This is a real prop for the Blues here too. You've got Jarrett Wade going against Luke Darcy. You really need another Carlton player to come over the top here.
Doggies, not many marks in this term. Hargrave, Eagleton under pressure. Tackle was quick. Came from Anderson. So the Blues holding firm. Blackwell.
Carlton are rolling the dice. They've got Jarrett Wade actually effectively playing as a ruckman around the ground.
Murphy waited for it. Maybe not the right call. Cooney, good tackle on him from Murphy there. And now wins it back. Cooney to put some pressure on. #1 draft picks left, right and centre here in this match. For Vola. Not many possessions, the 1 goal. Worked underneath it, O'Halpin. Lappin used the handball to Carrazzo. Carrazzo clever to Wiggins. Just couldn't get a handle on it. It was snappled by Kuda. Kuda goes for goal. Front spot. Fisher, left foot, puts it through.
There's Dennis Pagan, seeing a lot of him in this term, but in that box I think this will be a test for the trust between Eade and Schwartz. We'll hear more about that. Knocked down by Darcy. Cooney gave it out. The kick from West wanders down towards the 50. Gibbs has been terrific. Won that one too. Back to the advantage of Houlihan. Blackwell gave it to Scotland towards half forward on the stretch. Wiggins, hands in the back in any case, but he took the mark. Pops it over the top. Bentic runs inside the 50, goes again. Wait on a sharp angle, runs goalward, thought about going over the top, did. Popped through by Fisher.
Round, but not all good news for the Blues, Ricky.
No, Carlton now one man down with young Joey Anderson gone off with a hamstring injury.
He was the one that put the big tackle on Eagleton a moment ago. So our Halpin in the ruck against Darcy. And the Dogs need a goal. Another 7-goal third quarter at the MCG for Carlton this year. The last time they did that, they famously beat the Bombers.
And they're owning the ball at the moment too in the third quarter. Carlton have had 84 touches to the Western Bulldogs 44.
And the inside 50s reflect that, Tim. Well, this game has really sparked up. Umpire Hayden Kennedy has gone to ground and called a free kick. That's brilliant umpiring, if he got it right. Well, he's in his 3.99. I'm not going to argue. West to full forward. Oh, good mark. Bannister and Wiggins, the two wins have done well, haven't they?
Bannister's doing a really good job on Brad Johnson.
First game for the season, and Wiggins has been very busy in this quarter. And this is a test now, I reckon, for Carlton, because they've got themselves into a winning position. Dennis Pagan has talked a lot about mistakes under pressure, turnovers. Well, the pressure's on, and the pressure's on the Doggies right now. You talked about Gibbs not having a nomination for the NAB Rising Star. Dennis, I reckon he might have one after today.
I think you're right, Bruce. Simpson slips it away. Walker pinpoints it. Favola hands to it, did hang on. Fisher, who's been lively, comes after the football, met solidly by the man coming in the opposite direction, Boyd, who knocks it out. We talked about Ox in the box. Tim, did you like strangers in the coaching box when you were coaching?
I never had one stranger in the coach's box.
Never once, not invited. I hated it too. I didn't like it much. That and the sound of my inspiring speeches being drowned out by snoring. There goes the hand pass from Cooney, gave it away. Boyd, Griffin up through midfield. Now he backs off, goes square across the ground. Hargraves got it. Ackermanis is moving, goes there now. Johnson on the dash towards the 50. Out he comes. Will he get there? Yes, he will. Nobody deep for Johnson. Just sets it up to a vacant square. Does he want it to bounce it right? Well, he almost pulled it off. If that was his intention, he should be playing in Las Vegas.
I think he made the wrong move there.
So do I.
He just had to hang on to the ball and just wait for something to create. They had plenty of space to operate in then, the Bulldogs.
But had it gone through, Tim?
Yes, we would have been saying something completely different.
He was a lucky bounce away from being a genius, wasn't he? Kuta Fides. Free kick, I think, is coming back to Walker, is it? Or back to Kuta, is it?
It's downfield. Walker got knocked over.
And
it's a 50.
So Kuta Fides, who Ricky talked about at half-time and the impact he might have on the game, and he's quickly been able to get hold of the footy. And Walker's had a huge third quarter, and he goes with a long one to full forward, and Favola flew high. White was good. It was too much for Murphy in the end. Then Griffin, Houlihan, still with Houlihan, can't quite get it out, does now. Murphy and Griffin and Acker. Gee, Murphy was good, and Kuta with one hand. Well done by Cross and Cooney. It's a real arm wrestle now. And then Robbins, who we haven't seen a whole lot of. He's got Johnson in a one out. The kick's to his advantage. Bannister with him. Jono played him beautifully. Hit Acker loose. And he misses.
No.
And Acker is letting him know, and I don't blame him.
That's the second time, Brad. That is the second time you've made the wrong decision when you've had the ball.
Gee, that's interesting, isn't it? Ackerman is screaming at him on his own, basically in the goal square.
Houlihan sets it up for Eagleton. Intended for Blackwell, but he was a sacrificial lamb. Eagleton plays on, lines up, thumping kick. Just misses.
I wonder whether Eid will take Brad Johnson off the ground now and just have a quiet chat to him, or just leave him out there believing that he'll know the mistake he made.
Certainly Ackermanis played it up too. A word may have been better than standing on the kickoff line, arms outstretched. Don't like to see that. Houlihan once more. High ball. Walker set up this time. They're having marking practice out here, but that was terrific. Addison in front took it. Just fell a bit short of where Walker thought it was coming. Addison goes across the ground, bounces obligingly for West. Cross, tackled, sets it up. Offline, Johnson juggled, attempted the mark, almost the mark, it's played. Where's Acker?
Screaming for it, Dennis, as you speak.
Good chance getting it off him.
There's a man in his sock. Acker's calling for it, but there's a bloke right beside him.
That's a great camera shot.
Not the easiest kick in the world. Brad Johnson coming in for his fourth. Angles it, misses. Everything.
It's kick 3-4. The captain, All-Australian captain, 3-3 I should say, that missing the lot. The All-Australian captain last year, Scotland. So the signs are not good for the Dogs, are they? They've made a run and they haven't been able to put it on the board. Carlton holding the lead and holding their nerve.
He had to go for the punch there, Harris. He backed himself in to take the mark, but this bloke's got a terrific pair of hands.
Tim, if someone had told you at half-time, Fisher, by the way, to Hargrave, I'll ask you in a moment. Hahn just belts it back to Bannister. Someone had told you at half-time that the Blues had kicked 7-2. You'd think, gee, Fev's come out firing. But it hasn't been that way, has it? It's been the other guys.
No, they've had plenty of options when they've gone forward, though, Carl. And at the moment, the Bulldogs are just not working hard enough to pick up their men. Look at this.
And Sticks told us at half-time, Sticks Gernhan, it's not just about Fev, and that's the way they've played it here. Koutafidis, free kick.
Held before the ball arrived.
Well, we talked about how rusty and messy the Blues got before half-time. Dennis, right now, the Bulldogs look just like that.
Yes. Not much energy from them either compared to Carlton. Bentic goes after it, overran it. Harris tried to give it across to Eagleton. Well, there he is again. Satanta, dacked. Down goes Bentic, and the ball's out of bounds.
So I was thinking about Satanta at half-time. Is he the modern-day version of Gary Carlton, Dennis?
Crazy horse. Sort of, particularly when he's in this area on the ground. It's like the Bermuda Triangle for him. Down goes Carazzo, but not before he gave it to Koutafidis, who slips away from 55 towards full forward. And Lappin takes this mark only 20 metres out.
He has a special talent, Matthew Lappin, of reading the fly to the ball early. Forwards do that.
Like to be a fly on the wall down in the Bulldogs coaching box now. In fact, we've got a fly on the wall down there, so we're right. But I reckon the black phone may have got to work out. Lappin, broad smile, kicks the goal.
14-12, Ricky Olorenshaw.
Yeah, well, Brad Johnson did come off the ground a few minutes ago, straight to the phone, copped a good spray from Rodney, which quickly took his infamous smile off his face.
So the coach and the captain having words. Street belts it out of the centre. And the Doggies need a late goal with their captain sitting on the pine. Well done, Robbins. Ackermanis deep in the pocket and misses the lot. It was a low percentage try.
They'll all be sitting there shortly.
20-point margin. What a turnaround in this quarter. 6-goal turnaround. Cooney, who started this term so brightly. Back to Ackermanis from 55 metres out. Gibbs gets a hand on it. Going to enjoy watching Gibbs over the years. He's got a great football brain.
This is set up for a great last quarter, Bruce.
So the Blues have set this up for what should be a thrilling final turn.
Clock running down under 30 seconds to three-quarter time. Fisher creating space. Houlihan, nobody near him. Runs from half back. Comes to the wing, and Bannister. He's played a very good game, Bannister. Little chip towards half forward. They've got the numbers, but the kick not good enough. Carazzo had it knocked away by Morris. Boundary throw in, 10 seconds remaining. Margin 19 points. Bear in mind the Dogs led by 15 at half time. They can ill afford to lose this one. They've got a very bad percentage. They could slump to 5-5 if they can't pull themselves back from here, close to the boundary line. Out it goes on the siren. Bit of carnage to end the term. A look of determination on his face. Carlton, their best quarter of the season, no doubt. 18-8 to 14-13.
Weekend of upsets. 18-8. Lapham with 4 goals in that term and 5 for the match over the Doggies. 14-13. So 6-goal turnaround in that quarter. Carrazzo still doing some terrific things. BigPondSport.com. If you love your AFL, go there and you'll know all about what's happening here at the G and right around Australia on this weekend of AFL. Well, let's go into the box, into the Western Bulldogs box with the Ox. Ox, have they identified one Carlton player who made a difference?
Well, at the 15-minute mark, they certainly thought that Matthew Lapham was getting his hands on the ball too often, and they identified that. They identified a few players which they hadn't done in the first half. They were more worried about their matchups, but he was certainly identified very early.
What about the conversation between the skipper, Brad Johnson, when he came off, and the coach? Did it start, hey, Skip?
Unanimous that he would be taken off because of the pass that he didn't give to Ackermanis. It was all the coaches, in fact, said, let's get him off, and if it's the best player or if it's even the 22nd player on the list, got to reinforce discipline, and he didn't centre that to Ackermanis, and that was just a team rule broken.
And what was the mood when Rodney left the box? Was he angry? Was he frustrated? What did he take out with him onto the ground?
No, very calm, very, very calm, and that's one thing that hasn't really changed. A little bit of concern, but still very, very calm. There's in control amongst all the coaches.
Hey, just quickly, Ox, who do you reckon's going to win?
I think the Doggies. I think they'll still got plenty up their sleeve. Need to get some run. Need to start working for each other.
That's a really good point that Ox makes there too. The uncontested possession in that quarter, 84-38 for the Blues.
So three-quarter time, 18-8 to 14-13.
So, one of the Bulldogs got up their sleeve. Interesting to note, no long-sleeve jumpers out there.
Johnson's back on the ground, gone to full forward, been picked up by Bannister again. Darcy's going to operate out of the square.
Start of the final term, Sunday football. Street, they missed him in that last term. Ackland goes after it. His confidence is high. Battles after the football. Street at the base of the pack.
Watch the boots, that's it, thank you.
Walker had 12 possessions in that third quarter. Scotland 9. Carrazzo again with 8. They really have to put some time back into those players.
Ackland wins it down decisively. Bentic coughed it up off the ground by Cooney towards half forward. Here's a chance for Robbins. Gathered the half volley brilliantly. Nobody went to him. He kicks for space from behind Johnson, beaten by the man in front, Bannister. Johnson makes the point, but Bannister taking the points right there. Houlihan has got this one from Thornton. Comes over the top to Walker. Walker goes to half forward and Koutafidis. They're finding space, the Blues. They're looking dangerous. He sets it up towards Lappin. Why not? Fisted away by Gilby. Roving the pack is Power. Power goes very short to Cooney. Now some run. No cross. Held up. Did nicely cross. Goes towards the wing. The kick not particularly good. Well, that ball plays for Carlton. Bavola knocked it down to Fisher. He got it onto Waite. Waite comes back to Fisher, who was in the process of already being tackled, but luckily was pushed in the back.
Turn, please. Fell straight on top of him. He's under the footy. Player.
No doubting that. Bavola kicks into a man who was standing close to the mark. Down goes Cross. Carrazzo, 31 possessions now. It comes across to this man Walker. He got it from Fisher, lobs it down towards full forward, and the mark is taken by Koutafidis. No, it was touched. Goes to Bentic. Well, Koutafidis, he was playing stud poker there, but eventually Waite has snapped the goal.
Blues since half-time. Waite's one of them. They kicked 9-3 to 1-4 since Cooney put them 22 points in front of the Doggies. So Carlton 9 of the last 10, and they're in a winning position right now. Carrazzo, Ackland, Murphy, Power with him.
No, there's no push in the back.
One thing about the Dogs, you know they can keep coming, but have a look at this record in the last 2.5 seasons. They've been batting at under 20%. They really need a win, don't they, the Carlton Footy Club? Well, they're poised. High ball from Bannister from Koutafidis. Heard the umpire say, touch play on. Johnson in the defensive half. Back to West, who had a very good opening first half. Kick by Power. Eagleton was good underneath it. Now to Build.
White towards the 50. Gian Siracusa had to stretch and missed it. Well done though by Robbins. Gian Siracusa hasn't been accurate. This time he is.
Down in the Bulldogs forward line now.
Let's go down and talk to Ricky.
Yeah, just a quick update on Joey Anderson. He pinged that hamstring in the third quarter, laying a tackle, and he's gone for the game. So they've got 3 fit men on the bench now.
So 122 to 103.
Fine, help to him straight away. Thanks, Andrew. Get off.
The Bulldogs huddled at that last centre bounce. 6 of their players inside their forward 50, just huddling at the top of the goal square, just trying to confuse the Carlton defence.
So the 2 number 11s. Ackland's fought back pretty well after Street had a terrific opening to this match. Carazzo, Johnson working hard. Street did well. Eagleton, he's a clever player. He did very well in the end. And then Gian Siracusa belts to full forward. And Walker, who's had a spectacular second half, belts it over the line. He was the Anderson injury when he brought Eagleton down with that fierce tackle and forced it out on the full. Eagleton saying, what about Lowe? What about that free kick that I didn't get?
I think so.
Darcy looking for something similar. Gian Siracusa wrapped up, ball up.
Still plenty of time, obviously. The margin, 19 points. As you draw it up. Well done, knocked down by Darcy to Gian Siracusa. Cooney gets the goal.
By quarter, Dogs right on top and right back in this match. And Dennis Cooney and Gian Siracusa, you highlighted before the match, they're getting a fair bit, 40 between them now and 4 goals between them.
Might have been challenged by the coach, Bruce.
So coming back strongly. Street went early and then West out of the centre. Every 50-50 ball now important, and Carlton have got to stay in an attacking frame of mind. Houlihan to Ackland. Well, he had an airy just about. Wade has been terrific. Bentic goes to full forward. Fav almost. No free kick. Then Wiggins left foot sprays it. Well, I'm not sure if it was there, but Favola milked it for everything it was worth.
Play on.
I think you've got to, because I think he initiated the contact with his right arm. It was a hard arm coming back across Morris. Ackermanis made to earn that one. Clipped by Wiggins, barely the 15.
Be careful.
And the crowd very much involved.
Still got it.
Wiggins told to be careful. Ackermanis, no consolation for him. Goes to Harris. Harris spots Eagleton, who's running hard for them. He's got it at left half back. Play on's the call. There's nothing on down the ground. He'll want the boundary line here, or will he? No, that's a clever kick.
That's a great kick. There was nothing to go to. Cross just ran hard into that space. The Blues are good at the moment. They've got one-on-one footy just happening all over the ground.
Ackermanis, that's great running. Moments ago he was pinged down in the back pocket. Sets it inside the 50. Knocked forward by Bannister, who's been wonderful. Stolen away by Walker. Eagleton, well, in front, almost the mark to Simpson, who checked Eagleton's run. That was clever. And now we've got a free kick on the outer side, and it's going to Cross. And Daniel Cross says umpire Kennedy is his favourite umpire because he taught him at school.
Against Wiggins, just smashing into his back.
In fact, we've got out there this afternoon a Hayden Kennedy Appreciation Society. 3 players invariably in the centre square, all taught by him, and they all say he's their favourite umpire. Kick goes inside the forward 50. Street was up. Here's a chance, but Griffin tries to get away. Hargrave into space. This is a telling kick. That hurts the Blues.
To the Doggies as they come hard here. Well, Dennis Pagan's been in this position before. They've had the 2 highest scoring losses for the season, Carlton, against Brisbane and the Kangaroos. And here they are sitting on 19 goals and now being challenged 5 minutes ago, they had a 4 and a bit goal lead.
I reckon that bloke's been challenged too. Not Ackermanis, but Brad Johnson would have been challenged by his coach at three-quarter time after being taken off ground. Here's Acker just taking that mark and going to ground.
The one with Wiggins.
A little bit of acting going on there.
Cheeky as ever.
It was the running after that was great, wasn't it?
Yep, he's had some really good moments today. 22 individual goal scorers in this match, 11 apiece. Started as a free-flowing game, and we're now getting almost into an arm wrestle at 19-17. Every goal now vital. You reckon if the Blues could get 2 more, they're going to be so hard to beat. Ackland just dropped it. The street, no free kick, unlucky. Hurlahan back to Koutafidis. Did very well to Kuta. That's a little bit of class and experience. And to Murphy.
Who says Hayden Kennedy's his favourite umpire. From left half back, he kicks it up towards the wing, going back with strength. Harris does well, very well. Across the ground he comes. Boyd can go short. McMahon hasn't seen a lot of it. Cross is on. Cross is going back. Take this mark. "25 metres out. This to pull it back to just a point. 19 points at three-quarter time has evaporated. If Cross kicks accurately, it's down to the barest margin. Cross again, so much of the football this afternoon, 23 possessions. There was problems early with Carrazzo. Then who hasn't today? Carrazzo has been absolutely sensational. 32 so far for the Blues. Cross comes in and misses. They trail by a goal.
The interesting part about that build-up to that kick at goal, though, too, was the 3 players involved. Boyd, McMahon, and then Cross, all midfielders getting free.
One number 1 draft pick to another. Gibbs to Murphy. He put Lappin under the pump. No free, not Lappin, I should say Blackwell. No free kick against McMahon. And then Cross back inboard to Cooney, who takes a bounce rather cheekily and then goes for goal and misses. And getting back quite spectacularly was Thornton. So Cooney's had a lot of shots for goal today for 2.
He couldn't get balanced, and he was just running too quickly to get balanced.
Scotland.
He just needed to slow himself on the point of making contact with the footy.
So the Cross and the Cooney misses have kept Carlton in front here, but they are under the pump. Good mark taken by Harris against Walker.
He's been important in the last couple of minutes. That's his 6th contested mark today.
He's going to bang it to centre half forward. Wants a Darcy mark. Can't quite get there. Higgins, normally pretty good in this situation. Carrazzo, well done, as he's done throughout the day. And the Blues are away.
Bannister got it from Saddington to Wiggins. This is Scotland through midfield towards half forward. Boyd read it brilliantly offhand. Spears a pass in. Gian Siracusa didn't take a stride, just laid it off. Johnson long. Cooney big leap. Well, to no avail. Saddington stayed on the ground and won the football. Goes to Walker. A tired kick towards the outer side. Koutafidis forced to spoil. Trying to crash his way through out there and hurting himself was Harris. Emerging with the football, Scotland. Fisher took a while to get there. In trouble on the outer side. Then was Simpson. Came back towards support. And Koutafidis around the boundary finds Houlihan. There's Harris. Houlihan hugs the boundary. Well, Gilby missed it. Lappin didn't. Comes to Murphy. Murphy a centering kick. Bannister will mark just outside the 50. Favola is leading. Bannister ignores it. Bacon square sets it towards full forward. Favola's going back. Let it bounce. It rolls through.
He pushed into the midfield, and that's why he was free across at the top of the square. He's trying to draw Brad Johnson to him. Johnson's going to have to be a lot smarter when he goes forward, when Bannister goes forward.
He's been terrific, Bannister, hasn't he? In his first match for the season, 19 disposals. McMahon to Power. Waite able to put the smother on. And then Thornton, it's his 100th match today. into the back of Simpson. Wait, terrific. I reckon Cooter's been important.
Yep.
This last quarter, he's won a lot of 50-50s. Now, that wasn't pretty, but he got it to Ackland, who rode the first one. He had to get it out. Now he's got a problem. He tucked it back in.
Gee, they're really sensing now the Bulldogs, aren't they, that the game is there for the taking. They've stepped up their intensity.
Sorry, Tim. How's Harris going, Ricky?
Yeah, I think Harris is in a fair bit of trouble. He spoke to the doctor for a long time about his right hamstring, so keep a close eye on him.
There he is, and he's been very good this afternoon. Carazzo has been wonderful. Spots a man out of the corner of his eye, waits and pinpointed the ball. And I think because Harris was talking to the runner, Waite was the free man.
They haven't paid Carazzo any attention all afternoon, and he has had damaging possessions today. He's had 35 touches. Not all of them have been damaging, but he uses the ball intelligently when he gets into the forward half.
He gets the hard footy too, so Waite, not always the best kick at goal. So much riding on this kick. In he comes, he wills it through. Not enough. Behind. Well, that would have made it very tough for the Dogs to get back. As it is, we're under 10 minutes. This is Morris running at half back and then hesitating to pop it over the top, looking for Addison. Sits obligingly for Addison. Oh, great work there, diving across his boot. The 100-gamer in Thornton.
I know it's a cliche, but he's just the sort of bloke you'd want to win a match for, Thornton, isn't he?
Yep.
He'd be very popular in the change rooms, you'd reckon, a bloke like Thornton. Gives it his best. Eagleton run down, pushed.
Went forward in the tackle.
It's impossible, really, for Simpson not
Nice open forward line here, Bruce.
to have anything but that result. The kick by Eagleton, not great. Gibbs,
Oh.
well done. Dogs still with a half a chance. They take it off Thornton. Higgins cleverly to Gilby. Now he balances up. We know he's a beautiful kick, and he puts it home. They're still coming.
Well, in the context of the game, still an eternity to play. And the margin is just 7 points.
Johnson's still in the centre bounce. Darcy, West, McMahon.
Darcy and O'Halpin. Well done, Darcy. Almost worth a kick down towards half forward. Hans over the football, battling there with Thornton. And the umpire will ball it up.
That was an important contest to win. Had it bobbled out the Bulldogs' way, they were away. Carlton also could have set up rebound off their half-back.
Here's the bounce. Just inside the centre square. Ackermanis to West. Floats one. About 20 metres inside the 50. Going back and taking a courageous mark. The man who turned this game on its head in the third term. Lappin comes out wide. Waite. 7 points. Carlton's lead. Waite finds Scotland. Forward of the wing. Looks inside the 50. Favola is backing back. Attracts a crowd. Off hands. Harris did well. Stayed on his feet. Can't find the football. But Harris will get a free kick. Carlton fans think they've had a pretty rough deal today. Harris seemed to play on pretty wide of the mark too. Goes to West. West around the outer side. Johnson thought about going. Hesitates up the field. Boyd has it. Beautiful kick. Cooney on the lead. White across the ground. Comes in that direction. Well done by Gian Saracusa. Kept the men off him initially, but now White has a real problem. Slung down by White. No prior opportunity. And we'll have a ball up.
Just didn't hold this one quite long enough there. Just Waite just coming in from the side there, knocking the ball. That's a good decision from the umpire.
Waite's been very good, hasn't he? Simpson with some dash. Now, he hasn't kicked as well today. That one very wide for Whitnell. Bit slow motion there. Harris with him. Important ball. Whitnell, clever little kick. Favola, Murphy, still Murphy. He kicked the first of the day. It's coming back. Oh, it was excruciating.
It was an intelligent kick the way he laid it across his foot too.
And what about Whitnell's little dinky one to give Bev the run?
That was a smart kick, wasn't it? He just kicked it underneath the player.
Not quite, Dennis, centimetre perfect, but it was close.
Very close, Bruce. Here's Boyd across half back. Addison runs it up the corridor then towards half forward. Reaching over the top. Bannister again. Did brilliantly. Koutafidis sold a teammate into trouble. Houlihan got it back to Bannister. Wider still. Satanta concentrates very hard on the kick. It was effective. Favola has a bounce. Kicks inside the 50. Despairing lunge there by Harris to knock it away from Favola. Eagleton gave it to Boyd, to West. McMahon. Now an opportunity for Hahn. Cross is the man he wants. He's caught in the crossfire. 3 of them around him, but he took the mark. Well done, Daniel. Cross to Johnson. Here's Cooney. 60 metres out. Street wants it. He's got it. He can amble in, and amble the operative word. In he goes. Lines up, and he's got it. Big Streets.
For the Doggies, last year he was a big part of their run towards the finals. That's his first goal for the season, Street. It came at just the right time. Doggies closing within a kick. Hahn and Thornton.
Gee, they've had a couple of good battles, those two, in this last quarter.
I think pressure on everyone now, Tim, umpires included.
Critical, these stoppages, to win now.
So Whitnell off the ground. Street won it. Hahn couldn't quite. Koutafidis did very well to Bannister, who's had a wonderful match. Scotland's been excellent. Kicks to centre half forward. He's got Fev. Well, this is a moment now. Who better? He's had so little of it. He's done the odd good thing. He's done the odd bad thing. He's been ill-disciplined at times. He's only kicked the 1 goal. But he is a magnificent kick, and he's right where he wants it and where the Blues want it. This will bring the house down if he scores the goal. Well, he's had a couple of chances, and the Blues crawl to a 3-point lead.
And they hand the ball back to the Bulldogs too, and they're very good in these kick-out situations.
Saw another great kick for goal miss a few Friday night, Pavlich, didn't we? And now Fev misses.
That was a big one. Here's White. Bit of a fumble. Street back to White. Missed the target. In goes Boyd. Chance for Murphy. Boyd needs to be careful. Murphy didn't have the footy.
Oh.
Wow.
Let's just watch it again. There's Murphy about to pick the ball up, and Boyd just hung on to him. That is a free kick every time. He's got every right to plead.
And there might be a free kick to Ackland as well. Carazzo grabs it though. Floats it towards full forward. Harris from behind. Timely fist knocked it away from goal. Over the ball for Vola. Over him Morris. Well, Murphy hasn't got the ball now, surely. Murphy goes again. They sat on his back. Umpire Stevic says play on.
Pushed him this time.
No,
he's giving him a free kick now. Here's the first one. No free kick there. He played for it. Here is the free kick in the back now. There you go.
Murphy made it hard for himself there. He dressed it up after the initial hold by that dive forward and simply confused the issue. We've had everything this afternoon.
Another important kick for Carlton.
On a big day for Billy Bob Thornton, we've had bad Satanta. In comes the kick. It's a beauty from Murphy. Good work, Murphy.
Blues would just love it if he's kicked the last. What is it about Sunday afternoons in Melbourne? We've had some thrilling finishes over the last 5 weeks. And another one here today. Johnson out of the centre. The captain puts it within 50. Well done, Gibbs, and then got a high one.
Gee, that was good body play by a young kid then. Rockets still just looking to make some moves. They're going to make a difference in this game. Good play there by Gibbs just to push Ackermanis off the ball.
Ackland and Street, and then over the top cross. Bentic. Hahn did very well. Carlton, and now Koutafidis. He's been terrific in the clearances in this last quarter. Bannister to Thornton. Good kick to Scotland. Down the line. So Bentic. Centre wing.
This kick has to stick, Bruce. This has got to be an intelligent. There's the space.
And time now a factor. 3 minutes remaining. Talked about Wiggins coming back today, played the first 5 games, and Bannister. They've been 2 very important inclusions from Dennis Pagan's point of view. They've both had a lot to do with this performance of the Blues today. Wiggins' high ball's going to be hard. Dogs have got all the numbers. Favola was just the spoiler then, and then Gilby to set it up to Darcy.
Darcy in a defensive 50, forced to run. There's nothing on. Just kicks it out very wide. Hahn peeled off one way. Billy Bob went the other and got the football. Just pops it around the corner. Taken on the outer side by Waite. Goes inside the 50. Well, not quite. He goes outside the 50. Inside the 50. If that makes sense. Harris has got the ball. Time running out for the Dogs. Harris has been a terrific player, perhaps their best, as it turns out, given the quality of his opponent. Kicks it around the outer side. Thornton once more. Fitting. Off his step, Koutoufides. One of only 4 players playing today who were there when Thornton made his debut in 2002.
They just have to take about a minute off the clock here. They're not a great tempo side, Carlton, but they've got a spare player, Walker now.
Houlihan, normally a good kick, finds him. Simpson is breaking, goes beyond that. Bannister with Johnson closing. Good mark. Johnson has got some goals, but Bannister generally has been the master in that battle. Peels off from half-back across the ground. Carazzo, 36 possessions. Thornton in the thick of it right here, goes to Fisher, and you sense that Carlton now are home.
And symbolically, Tim, they've actually been very mature with the footy in the last minute, haven't they? And this has been a real criticism of them.
And how fitting that this bloke would have the ball in his hands at this stage of the game too. He's been outstanding all afternoon.
Well, the numbers just back that up, don't they? Just a huge match. Fisher, who's been a big contributor as well, to the pocket. Wiggins nearly. The ball stays in. One last roll of the dice, maybe for the Dogs. Hahn got it from Hargrave. They've got to run it down and score a goal and then get it back to the centre. Griffin, Acker gets a second crack. Run down brilliantly by Walker. Huge play. Gibbs through the centre. Little one to Murphy. Gibbs running on. Murphy uses him. And I reckon Gibbs has probably played his best match for the club today.
He's been outstanding, showed maturity beyond his years. He's had some tough assignments this afternoon too. Spent a lot of time on Acker. But he's so composed when he has the ball in his hands.
Guess what? Carlton are going to win. And they haven't done it for a long time. And Favola from 70 metres out. Well, it was almost the last party trick of the day.
They're home.
Yep.
And as good as it is for the Blues, it's as bad for the Doggies. They're back in the ruck after today, and Carlton keep their season bubbling with a 3rd win. Well, they've been good to watch all year, haven't they? They just have had the win. Cooter was important. And for Dennis Pagan, boy, that must be relief. Lappin 4 goals in a quarter, 5 for the match. Thornton's 100 games. And this is a bitter taste for the Doggies today.
It is a really disappointing day for them. But conversely, it's just a great day for Carlton. They haven't won a game in 6 weeks. Favola had a quiet day, but they were still able to conjure enough goals. It was Lappin in that 3rd quarter who kicked 4 goals when they really opened up the Bulldogs, and they didn't have enough thirst for the contest in that 3rd quarter.
Let's go down to
Andrew, it's been a really tough 6 weeks, but what a great win today.
Yeah, well, it was a great win. We were up against it. They were going to come in the last quarter like you saw, but yeah, I think, well, we're just sick of losing, I think, so it was a good win.
Yeah, well, 6 losses in a row was pretty tough, but on your form, mate, you brought your own footy along today. No one picked you up all day.
Yes.
Oh, mate, I'm just trying to get around and get a few kicks. It's all right, but we got the win, so that's the main thing.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for that.
Brendan Favola with the footy in his hand at the ends.
Carlton had 37 touches this afternoon.
He was fabulous. Just a little sidebar, it's the highest score that Rodney Eade's ever been involved in a losing team as coach for anybody, Sydney or the Bulldogs. And a ridiculous stat, you've got to go back to round 2, 2005, since Richmond, Melbourne and Carlton all didn't lose on the same weekend.
That's a stat.
Let's go to the Ox. It was a sensational last quarter. The Box must have had ebbs and flows mood-wise.
Well, it was. They were up 1 minute and they were down the next. Overall, though, they stayed pretty calm. They believe it's an opportunity lost here this afternoon. They thought they made a lot of errors, but they paid a lot of credit to Carlton because they ran hard. They looked like they had more run in the legs, and they were very complimentary that they punished the Bulldogs when they happened to turn it over.
Was that one of the key things, Ox, in the second half, that Carlton was so prepared to run and they opened up the Bulldogs?
Yeah, and they were really upset about getting smashed at the stoppages. I know that a lot of the clearances favoured the Bulldogs, but every time there's a ball up, Rocket and the boys knew that they were in a bit of strife. It looked like they had a lot of leg not injuries, but a lot of not enough run in the legs, and that was one concern for Rocket.
I know we've asked you this question before today. It was at half-time. Dennis asked you the question, but Carlton, did they start to concern themselves about Carlton late in the game?
No, they stayed true to their as what they did at the start of the game. They were more concerned with their matchups, getting their players. I think they've got a theory that if they can't control their players, what they can do is control their own. And if their players can stand up and do the job that they've been taught throughout the week, well, they'll be able to stop players like Carrozzo and also Lappin. Today just wasn't the day, though.
Thanks, Ox. Really enjoyed your contribution. Brendan Favola with Ricky.
These Blue supporters are really enjoying this win, aren't they?
Yeah, it's good for them to turn out. We've played some pretty exciting footy over the last couple of weeks. We've just had little lapses here and there. I think we had another one in the second quarter, but the third quarter was just awesome. I think we did one of those against Essendon a couple of weeks ago, and we like playing at the G, so it's good win.
And a couple of boys that most people don't know much about, Carrozzo, Bannister, Wiggins were great for you blokes today, weren't they?
Yeah, Wiggo and Bano both come back in, and Bano's been busting his butt back in the twos and really trained hard, and it's good to get his opportunity. Playing a super player in Johnson, and Wiggo had hamstring, he's just come back, and also Carrozzo's sort of relished Steve-O not being here. He's been chucked in the middle and he's got heaps of the ball, which is good.
Thanks, Brandon. Got you, mate.
Nice work, Ricky. So what is it about round 10, Tim? Melbourne win their first one. Richmond, a stirring draw last night, and the Blues get back on track. I think it comes down to teams perhaps sensing, well, this is it. Otherwise, the season is gone and we're going to disgrace ourselves.
That's right. It's a real belief, but they turned their game plan upside down. They averaged 302 touches, Carlton. They had 388 today. They didn't keep the Bulldogs below 300 or around 300, but they got enough of the ball themselves to be decisive.
Something not quite right about the Bulldogs, I think you've got to say, as off come this joyous Carlton outfit. It's been a while.
6 straight losses, Dennis. They were looking down the barrel to be well and truly out of the running. Now, they're still well back, but they're playing some good footy. They just haven't been able to quite finish off. They've got Port Adelaide next week here in Melbourne, and that will give them another opportunity, perhaps. There's the ladder. Hawthorn having won today against Port Adelaide. Hawthorn and Collingwood doing so well, aren't they? Up near the top, and a chance missed by the Bulldogs to go back into the 8.
No doubt about that.
So the Bulldogs with Sydney both at 5 and 5, and look at Carlton, not all that far away now.
Bulldogs percentage a real worry too, 95.
And hasn't the last weekend or two changed this match with the Bombers 3 in a row against the front runners West Coast? That's Friday night. It was a beauty, 40 goals in all. Carlton getting home in the end in a thriller at the G.